Hello, 22 Tony here with today's discussion of vintage and antique 22 ammunition boxes. Today I'd like to discuss the Western Auto stores. I know immediately some of you are thinking, what does Western Auto have to do with vintage and antique 22 ammunition? Well, Western Auto, just like many of the retailers of the 1950s through the 1970s, did carry their own line of ammunition. In this case, it was the Revelation brand. Revelation is produced for Western Auto, but being a retailer, they aren't a manufacturer. They had their cartridges produced by Federal. These are the same quality Federal cartridges that you would find in the Federal brand names. I find them to be very high quality, and these cartridges, even though they're over 50 years old, I would have no problem shooting today if I wanted to waste my valuable ammunition, which I don't. Now, when the Revelation line was introduced, it was in the 1950s, and it was in a box just like this one. Dark background with the bright colored decorations on it. No real fancy graphics. It doesn't have a pheasant flying across the front, but it's still a fairly attractive box. These boxes carried on for a few years until 1962, when the federal government decided that we all needed to be warned not to let our children play with our ammunition. So in 1962, Federal, along with the other manufacturers, was forced to put a warning label on. Because they did have a stockpile of the boxes, in 1962, there's just a label right across the front of the box with the warning to keep out of reach of children. By 1963, when they had exhausted the inventory, they went to this box with a warning label printed on it. And these boxes, minor variations, but basically they carried through into the 1970s. In the 1970s, there was a plastic box produced, but the paper cartridges or paper boxes were pretty much similar to these for the entire run. Now these boxes, again, probably both from early 1960s. This one may have been late 1950s, but somewhere prior to 1962 we know. And then this one was 1963 or later. These are both 22 long, which makes them a little bit harder to find than the long rifles. I just happen to be lucky to get two boxes of 22 longs in the two variations. Now, collectors out there might want to know, what would I have to pay for a box like these? These ones both would probably, in 22 long, in this kind of condition, you're probably looking anywhere from, maybe $25 to $40, depending on how lucky you are. At a gun show, you might get them for a little bit less. I've seen them online go over $40 a box. They're available. They're not real common, but they're definitely available. But today's discussion was just to get you thinking about the retailer boxes, not necessarily about Western Auto, but there are other retailers as well. Montgomery Ward's, Kmart, Sears, Gables, Coast to Coast stores, dozens of retailers have their own packaging. If you're interested in vintage ammunition, this might be an area to focus your collection on. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and I want to thank you for watching. Thanks, and bye.